topping the Rangers 6-3.
From the gridiron to the airwaves, it's time for the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. Martin is a national championship fullback from the 1992 Alabama Crimson Tide. Known for his bruising runs and devastating blocks now, he's bulldozing through sports talk with that same championship intensity. Joining him is his son, Xavier, a savant of football knowledge and statistical insight. He's your go-to source for the latest recruiting news and insider updates from across the Bama Nation. Together, they deliver fair and balanced analysis from an insider's perspective with real conversations with the callers, the listeners, and the online maniacs get in on the action by sharing their thoughts, their comment, and their reaction. Join our online maniacs at facebook.com/The Martin Houston Show. You're listening to Tide 100.9 and 1230 WTBC. It's time for kickoff, so buckle up and get ready. Because this is the sound of Bama sports. The Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier is live. Roll Tide, roll!
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by Box Eye Care. On this Tuesday edition, we have DC of DC Capstone Report joining us as he does each and every Tuesdays. Man, there's a lot to get into. Alabama drops another one to Gonzaga last night. It was a really tight game. Bama got the lead late in the second half, but Gonzaga's big men were just a little too much for the Crimson Tide. Is Nate Oates going to be able to remedy that? We'll talk to DC about that, as well as we get more into the conversation about the Iron Bowl. What does Alabama have to do to play a clean game Saturday in Jordan-Hare, where we know that Auburn magic always seems to come alive, no matter how good Alabama is, no matter how bad Auburn is. That is one tough place to play. So we'll get into that. We'll talk about Ty Simpson again, things that he can do to clean up the game, the run game, and a lot more to get into about that. Remember, you can call in on the hotline at 205-342-9904 to get in on the conversation.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome into the program. Glad to have you as a part of the program. As Zach said, it's Tuesday, and we have DC Capstone Report. Before we get into that conversation, QD nailed the score almost. QD's score was 59-0. So QD is last week's winner against Eastern Illinois. He had 211 rushing yards. Tim Coggins got pretty close to the rushing total. His rushing total was 285. His score at one point was 85-0, then 100-0. I guess he forgot that we were going to play everybody on the roster, including our fifth-string quarterback. A fifth-string quarterback who probably could be playing somewhere, right? So,
Right.
6'7", 252. That was a big boy. But anyway, as you mentioned, we'll talk basketball as well in terms of what happened. But definitely Iron Bowl week, Alabama versus Auburn at Jordan-Hare Stadium on Voodoo Field. So definitely something in the air when you play down there. So I guess it's kind of one of those things. Is it Voodoo Field X, or is it just that 9 times out of 10 we've been the better team and they figured out how to upset us? Because we're the better team the majority of the time. We've been. If you go back and look at like even our losses, it's like, it's crazy to think about. And it's funny. This quick sidebar. Good morning, DC. Good morning, DC. How you doing, man?
Oh, doing great. Good morning, X. Good morning, Martin.
Good morning.
I'll bring you in on this conversation. I'm going to toss it back to you, X. I was watching Cam Newton on First Take, I think it was, and they were having a whole debate over what's the greatest rivalry. and some of the people tried to argue. I couldn't hear it all. I only heard Cam's response, but Cam's response made me think they threw up Ohio State and Michigan because Cam's defense was, I know it's been a little lopsided, but it's still the greatest rivalry, and not Michigan and Ohio State. And I'm thinking, how are they trying to say because it's lopsided? Hadn't Michigan beat Ohio State like 4 years in a row?
Yeah, and Ohio State had beat them something crazy, like had a crazy streak before that.
Yeah, like 8 or 9 times. It was crazy. So I was like, how you just saying? And it said because game day, they said game day don't even go to the Iron Bowl anymore. I'm like, well, game day also didn't come to Tuscaloosa when Alabama played Oklahoma. They went to Pitt and Notre Dame, right? Let's just let that sink in for a second. If you don't think that media drives sports, politics, and your life, I got some swampland. I want to say down in off the coast of Florida. Oh yeah, let me do my program. This is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Take it away, Ax.
All right. Oh yeah, and I just looked at Ohio State had an 8-game win streak before that. So in the last 12 years, it's been a 4-game win streak and an 8-game win streak. There's been 0 back and forth since forever. No, that just shows you. And Michigan had a win, and then it was another Ohio State streak. So pretty much since 2000, it's either been Ohio State winning or Michigan winning in streaks.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and even when we dominated, even when Saban was dominating DC, Auburn would still manage to win. You know, that's the sign of a rivalry. Even though Alabama clearly was going for 3 in a row, and I think Auburn won 9 games that year or something like that. And
Saban's longest streak is what he ended with 4.
Yeah. DC.
Yeah, there's no question the greatest rivalry in college football has to be Alabama and Auburn. I mean, you can debate it with other schools, but if you're in the middle of it or been a part of it or even near it or covered it, you know which one is the best and most hated rivalry. It had nothing to do with wins and losses. It has to do with the context of why you're playing, who you're playing, and it's the idea of in the state of Alabama, we do not have any professional teams to align ourselves with. So when you're born, you choose Alabama or Auburn, and that is the life that you live if you're a member of the state. So that's unique in its perspective. And so I don't think people outside really grasp that, really get that until they come and experience it. And then if you've ever experienced it, then you'll know the best rivalry is Alabama or Auburn. And there were streaks that Auburn went on, streaks that Alabama went on, and then there was back and forth. And as they say, the team that always should win on paper doesn't usually win on paper in the Alabama-Auburn game because they don't play on paper. They play a rivalry on the field that means something to both teams, both players, and both coaches and both fan bases to the extent it's a must-win game, and both of them try to do that. So I think that's what makes a good rivalry.
Yeah, and the fact that when you move to move anywhere in the state of Alabama, the question is asked Alabama or Auburn on your first day of school. And you can go to every college in Alabama and ask every student that's from Alabama. You may not be so for those who moved here, but every student at UAB, Troy, South Alabama,
Jacksonville State, North Alabama, it don't matter.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. You say Alabama or Auburn. They're either Alabama or Auburn fans, no matter where they go to school. So that tells you all you need to know as well. Alex, take it away.
Yes, we'll talk more about that as the week goes. But DC, Alabama, Gonzaga last night. Gonzaga got the win 95-85. LeBaron Philon, I'm going to say it probably every game. Enjoy him while he's here. Dropped 29 points last night, led Alabama in scoring again. He has become a phenomenal scorer, and he had 7 assists with that, and should have had more. He did have 6 turnovers, but several of those were at the end when he was trying to make things happen to get Bama back in it. Thoughts on Alabama's overall performance last night? Aiden Holloway did not have a good shooting night, his first off game of the season. So,
yeah, I think that was the difference in the game, and it wasn't just Holloway; it was others too. That I think Philon didn't have a person to go to score to help him in his scoring. I mean, he had 29 points, he had 7 assists. He did a great job of driving against a good defense, and then Gonzaga had a great defense, and they did a good job of covering the other players. And Holloway was off. If he'd hit his normal percentage of 3-pointers, we would have won the game by 7 or 8 points, in my opinion. I think what we missed last night, 2 things. One is we really missed having another scorer to go to like Reitzel. I think Reitzel being out of the game against a tough defensive performance like Gonzaga was really glaring last night. You could see that we missing that other shooter to go to when Holloway is not hot. And then we missed. They had 2 bigs down low, Huff and Nike, that worked really good together in tandem. And then they had a third, Grant Foster, that came on in this game and it did much better. And what was happening was we were sagging it early, trying to take away Ike. If you see us dropping back, our guards were going back, and we were letting Huff get the ball, and he did a good job of scoring. So those 2 guys scoring between 19, 18 points. And then Grant Foster, they had like a 3-headed big men there, and we didn't have an answer for that. We played great defense to start with. And then we didn't do well on rebounding or helping out on the pass from the big man. Emphasis was to try to get the ball out of his hands, and to give him credit, he got the ball to the right player. He made the right shot, including in Huff and Grant Foster. So I think they did enough. I'm not going to take anything away from Gonzaga. They're a good team. Alabama could have won the game, I believe, if we just hit our normal percentage of 3-pointers. So it's something that we're going to have to work on. Who's going to be the go-to guy when Holloway is shooting cold, and we don't have anybody else on the field court to do that right now, to step up? I don't think. In this game we didn't. It seemed like everybody else was hesitant to take shots until late when Amari Allen started taking some shots and hitting him.
Yeah, and the reality is, I agree with everything you said, but I'll throw this caveat in. We still should have won the game if we hit our free throws and rebound. As bad as we shot the ball. Yeah. We didn't lose that game because shooting was off. We lost that game because we missed free throws, the front end. At one point, we were 1 for 5 on the front end of 1-and-1s in a 2-point game. So you hit your free throws, you pull away. I mean, you take the lead, you pull away, even after shooting as bad as we did. Because the reality of it is, how many points did we get? We still almost got what?
Yeah, we got
85.
Right.
And we were 14 for 23 from the free throw line. And when you talk about that aspect of it, if you're hitting the front end of the 1-on-1s,
yes,
and so you're getting an opportunity for those points. That if we just make those, that's 4 points, and then you turn around and you make the 4 points on the back end, that's 8 points. That's a 2-point game. And then you're also not fouling at
that's
the
right.
end.
The way the score ended is not is
reflective of how.
And then we just have to figure out. It wasn't just big man rebounding. It was we still have not figured out that the other team can crash the board. Grant wasn't rebounding from under the goal. Grant was coming from the 3-point line from, mid-range. And then Bristow got big boyed a couple times by Huff. I thought that was over the back a couple times, but they didn't call it. They let them play physical, on the offense, on their offensive end. So, but I agree with what you said, DC. If we shoot better, we win the game. But the reality of it is, shots don't always travel. That's a reality. But defense, blocking out, and free throws, if you don't have that with you when you go play a good team, you're going to lose 9 times out of 10. And that's why Alabama has 2 losses, whether at home or on the road. Just not great free throw shooting and poor rebounding. But here's the good news. I think both of those are things you can fix. So
yeah, I think it's also. I think you're exactly right. I think it's also a matter of, hey, I don't think he's got his rotation down yet. By the time he gets into SEC play, he'll have played a lot of great competition. I don't think they're talking about the talent in the SEC, but it's going to be hard to find a better talent than LeBaron Fallon when he starts playing SEC competition. I think he's gone up against some really, really good players in the Purdue guard and the players there at Gonzaga and Illinois. I think he's gone up against some good stiff competition, and I doubt that he'll see that type of play from every team in the SEC. And so I think we're doing it well as far as scheduling. We're learning from it. And like you said, these are all fixable things. He's got a lot of coaching, coach to get these things fixed before we get in the SEC play. And I think he can do that. And I think this team is better. I really honestly think this team is better when Wrightsell is healthy and playing alongside him, whether he's scoring or whether he's just another threat that they have to guard. I think this team's better.
I agree.
And Jalil Bethea is on the way. And I think that's going to be huge once we get into SEC play, because that he can be, him or Wrightsell can be that third option if Holloway's off, or if Phylon has an off game. You have 2 other guys that you believe can take over a game.
Yeah.
All right. But hey, we're gonna get to break. We'll come back. We'll continue the conversation, get more into it, and we'll also start to move into Iron Bowl talk. This is the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier with DC of DC Capstone Report.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, starting early this morning on this Tuesday with an accident on 2059 eastbound at Skyland Boulevard. And then we also have some trouble in Vance on Skyland Boulevard northbound at 2059. And this is going to block out your right shoulder. Now, we do have some heavy rainfall. So, of course, this isn't making things any better. You do want to use caution with that situation. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com.
Payments from $199 a month and up to $6,500 off select Nissan models, only at Townsend Nissan. Lifetime warranty, free oil changes, and a pre-approval with no impact to your credit. TownsendNissan.com.
When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Whether you're a working professional or an active dad, Gameday Men's Health in Tuscaloosa offers convenient expert back care for all men looking to feel and perform their best. They specialize in testosterone therapy, ED, weight loss therapy, and peptide therapy. Their easy 3-step personalized treatment plan will get you on the right track to feeling and performing better. All you have to do is stop by Gameday Men's Health at 1013th Street East in Tuscaloosa for a free consultation.
Get your football weekend started early with Fridays at the Free. I'm Gary Harris, and I'll broadcast my show live from Innisfree Irish Pub every Alabama game weekend from 9 to 11 a.m. on Friday mornings, so we'll get the jump on everybody else, and you'll be ready to start the weekend as soon as Innisfree opens at 11 a.m. With 2 bars, TVs everywhere, and outdoor seating as well, there's only one Innisfree Irish Pub. Often imitated but never duplicated. Fridays at the Free with me, Gary Harris, this fall at Innisfree Irish Pub, 1925 University Boulevard in Tuscaloosa.
Tired of cooking during the holidays? Let Chow's Country Buffet take care of it for you. Chow's Country Buffet, Tuscaloosa's best buffet restaurant, offers an all-you-can-eat spread filled with fan favorites, Chinese dishes, classic Southern staples, fried whole catfish, fried chicken, seafood, a wide variety of vegetables, and so much more. Bring the whole family and celebrate Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's at Chow's Country Buffet. And don't forget to save room for their delicious desserts. Happy holidays, and thank you for choosing them. Visit Chow's at 1100 Skyland Boulevard.
Hey, I'm Martin Houston, and I want to tell you about exciting news happening at Box Eye Care. They moved to their new location, bringing you a brand new lab, stylish new frames, and a fresh look just for you. Enjoy their expanded frame inventory, competitive prices, and faster service, all with the same great level of service you've come to know and trust. Discover this full-service eye care at Box Eye Care's new location. With their in-house lab, they offer unbeatable value and one of the largest frame collections in town. Schedule your eye exam today and walk out with new glasses in less than an hour in most cases. Visit boxeyecare.com. That's boxeyecare.com, or call 205-342-0660. That's 205-342-0660. Visit them at 5003 Oscar Baxter Drive. That's Box Eye Care. Your vision, our priority.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly cloudy with a few passing showers and thunderstorms today. The high 72. For tonight, storms ending this evening, the low 53. Tomorrow becoming mostly sunny and noticeably cooler. The high tomorrow very close to 60. I'm James Spann with the Alabama Weather Network on Tide 100.9. It's 61 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning. We have DC Capstone Report. I want to thank all our great sponsors out there for helping make it possible and invite you to join our championship roster of great sponsors. All you need to do if you want to join our championship roster is email Martin at martinhouston.org. If you have a business, an event, or an item that you need to promote, get out to the listeners, especially if it's Bama centric, then we are the place that can get you. Not only do you get the radio airwaves, but you also get all of the free online exposure as the cost is just related to the radio advertising. You can email Martin at Martinhouston for more, martinhouston.org for more information. Join a championship roster today. And speaking of sponsors, want to remind you, go check out Empowerment Leadership and People Solutions at martinhouston.org. Find out about our Live to Lead event that's coming up. It has all the details there. Just click Live to Lead, and we'd love to have you be a part of that big event coming up in January and in February. One conference, 2 days, powered by Live to Lead. X, we have got a short break here, short segment here, so I'll toss it back to you, man.
All right. DC, you, just to wrap up the basketball conversation, when we're talking about what Alabama has to do, what do you want to see from Alabama that'll kind of right these wrongs while guys are still kind of dealing with injuries?
Well, I'd like to see better fundamental blocking out and rebounding. I think that's one thing that you can teach, one thing you can learn, one thing you can do. And I'd like to see better free throw shooting. I think that's a practice point. I think it's something they can do. So those are two things I think are fixable. I think that they can work on those, and if they can work on their rebounding and free throw shooting, and still play the same high intensity defense that they're playing, then if you look at that Gonzaga game last night, just the rebounding. We had a great first defense. We put them in a position where they had to make a terrible shot or a bad pass, and yet we couldn't get the rebound, and they ended up scoring. And we lost at least, as I counted in the first half, at least 14 points on putbacks instead of rebounding. That we could have gotten. We get half of those rebounds, just half, just improve half. We cut it to a real thin margin there. Then you clean up your free throw shooting, like Martin was saying earlier, which that's just free. That's free money you're leaving on the table every time you miss a free throw shot. If you can just clean that up to get in that 80% range, then we win the ball game. I think we win that ball game last night. So I think those are two things that are fixable, and that's what I'd like to see them work on.
X, and we had 2 fast break points in the first half. That's because we didn't get defensive rebounds by our guards at all.
Right.
And so they had 0 rebounds in the first half. So, yeah, block out and free throws. Let's get to the call. Right.
Here's one last thing. Do we need to change philosophies with big men?
What do you mean?
In what way you mean? What do you mean by that?
More physical, down low big men. I thought that's what Noah Williamson was going to be, and he really hasn't shown that at all this season. And then, like Sherrill, he's a great shooter for a big, but he's not as physical as a big.
I want to. I don't know. I mean, it seems like the other big guys just they want it more than we do when it comes to rebounds. Like we put body on people. We don't box out. Put your butt on them and move them. Don't just get in front of them. It was several times where we were in great box out position. We just didn't move them. We just stood there with them behind them, and when the ball went up, they were quicker off their feet. They just move them, man. I tell your nephew, man, have that guy where he's standing outside the lane. If you can, put him on the 3-point line and let the ball bounce in front of you and grab it. Just don't just stand there, just try you in the right position. I don't think they were always out of position.
And I agree with Martin 100%. I don't know it's not the physical defense. I think Sherrill can play physical defense. I think the problem is technique in rebounding. And I don't know, when I was coming up, we taught that box out. We called it box out, block out. And box out means you take them outside of the box. You don't even leave them in the square. You use your rear end and you get them out of there, and you move them, and you can do that. I was never the best player. I was never the best shooter, but one thing I could do is rebound, and that was my thing. I was going to box out and get my rebounds, and then eventually points would come or whatever would come, free throws would come over my back. But that's something you can teach, and that's something that's a want to. You play good defense, and you don't relax after the shot goes up. You go harder after the shot goes up, and that's something I don't think we're doing. That's where our physicality is lacking. Is we don't go hard when the shot goes up.
All right. Well, I agree with that. We have Robert from Mobile. Robert, how you doing this morning, sir?
Hey, guys.
Hey, now.
I guess let's shift gears back to the game, the football game. It seems like we're going into Jordan Hare, the haunted house of voodoo. I saw an SEC short where one of the characters on there was Alabama guy, down there, Auburn guy. And then you had to brew this witchcraft already, which means they've already started to brew in their witchcraft to hex Alabama. We're going to this game at one of our weakest points, unfortunately, on offense, and that's really what's got me worried. Our kicking game it's just virtually non-existent. Our running game is so-so, and now our passing game is going down as well. If we went for our fantastic defense, which I think now we're really high up there with one of the best defenses in college football today. This would could be a real house of horrors. Then Auburn has nothing to lose, and so they're limited to play football. And it's really kind of tough to get really optimistic about this game, but it's, I guess.
So what does Auburn have? So what does Auburn have that we don't have?
Oh, absolutely nothing. But we know how that place is. We've been here before. We had superior teams, completely really superior, and somehow they managed to either stay around or maybe even win the darn thing. it's down with a team that this offense has really got some issues right now. We really don't need that offense to be struggling right now, but it is, and now it's got me way nervous than usual.
Let me ask you this. If we don't phone the ball 3 times, how good was our offense against Oklahoma?
Yeah, we run away with the game.
So is our offense are you expecting us to have 3 turnovers again and none from Auburn?
That team, for some reason, in that stadium doesn't want to turn the ball over too often when they play us here. And our offense does strange, the ball does strange things in Auburn. I'm an engineer, scientifically minded, but but science does not explain things I've seen in Jordan Hare. So just putting that out there. What was like 3-point spread, which is really amazing. Alabama team that's this highly, that's this highly ranked against an Auburn team that's this poor. That spread's usually a lot more than this, and this 3 points for a reason. They're around there.
I agree with you, Robert. Hey, we appreciate you calling in. We got to get to break, but we'll continue that conversation about how things bounce and tumble always over at Jordan Hare when Alabama comes to town. And has Alabama broken that Jordan Hare voodoo, as we've been calling it today? Hey, this is Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. We have DC and DC Caps on report. We'll be back on the other side to continue the conversation.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, starting early this morning on this Tuesday with an accident on 2059 eastbound at Skyland Boulevard. And then we also have some trouble in Vance on Skyland Boulevard northbound at 2059. And this is going to block out your right shoulder. Now, we do have some heavy rainfall. So, of course, this isn't making things any better. You do want to use caution with that situation. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
Get your football weekend started early with Fridays at the Free. I'm Gary Harris, and I'll broadcast my show live from Innisfree Irish Pub every Alabama game weekend from 9 to 11 a.m. on Friday mornings. So we'll get the jump on everybody else, and you'll be ready to start the weekend as soon as Innisfree opens at 11 a.m. With 2 bars, TVs everywhere, and outdoor seating as well, there's only one Innisfree Irish Pub. Often imitated but never duplicated. Fridays at the Free with me, Gary Harris, this fall at Innisfree Irish Pub, 1925 University Boulevard in Tuscaloosa.
Hey guys, are you ready to take control of your health, energy, and performance? Primetime Men's Health Clinic is ready to help. Their clinic is built around the idea that men deserve better care, private and tailored to their lives. So if you're experiencing low testosterone, weight gain, hair loss, ED, or just want to perform like you did in your 20s, go to primetimemensclinic.com and change your life. That's right, guys. Change your life by going to primetimemensclinic.com.
Alabama football is back, and there's nothing more refreshing than an ice-cold Surfside to enjoy while you cheer on your Crimson Tide. Surfside is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles. That's right, no carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. It's not a seltzer, it's Surfside. Proud partner of the Crimson Tide. Sold in stadium and at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
Your friends may drive a new car for under $35,000, But is it a Mercedes-Benz? Level up to luxury at Mercedes-Benz of Tuscaloosa. Drive a 2025 GLA 250 without the luxury price, just $33,988 for as low as $479 a month. A Mercedes-Benz is within your reach. A GLA for just $33,988. Get to Mercedes-Benz of Tuscaloosa before your friends do.
On select models with approved credit while supplies last. Stock number L2417. Taxes and fees extra. See dealer for details.
With Black Friday savings at the Home Depot, you can get up to $1,400 off, plus get free delivery on select innovative appliances like GE Profile. Add a touch of ease to your holiday with the all-in-one combo to wash and dry your laundry in one machine. And refrigerators with built-in convenient features like the dual dispense autofill water pitcher. Shop Black Friday savings on select GE Profile appliances plus get free delivery now at the Home Depot. Free delivery on appliance purchases of $396 or more. Offer valid 11/5 through 12/3. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Got timberland in West Alabama or East Mississippi? North River Timber Company has you covered. Since 2011, Courtney White, a registered forester, along with his expert team, have been managing timberland and harvesting timber across 4 West Alabama counties. They offer comprehensive timber management plans, reforestation services, and appraisals. Courtney White says timber is like money in the bank. Don't let your investment go unrealized. Call North River Timber Company today. Email them at northrivertimberco@gmail.com or call 205-242-5127.
It's time for something new. It's time for something different. And how do you do that? The only way you can, with a Hype Stick Shaker. Hype Fan has partnered with Children's of Alabama to bring this to you, the Bama Faithful. For a $20 donation, you too can bring the hype. Go to hypestick.com. Again, that's hypestick.com. Or find them on Instagram. Make your donation and choose your hype stick today. Don't wait. Do it now. Roll Tide. Partial proceeds go to Children's of Alabama Hospital.
Taco Casa, quality, taste, and value under the biggest cactus in town. They've been doing it the right way each and every day for 50 years and counting. If you're looking for a great option for lunch and or dinner, then you need to check out Taco Casa. Taco Casa, and while you're there, don't forget to get a big glass of that sweet tea. Visit them online at tacocasa.com. That's tacocasa.com. Quality, taste, and value on the biggest cactus in town. That's Taco Casa, tacocasa.com.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
All righty, welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. We're tied. We're on tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. All right, I made a statement at the end of the game at the end of the last segment when Robert was on, that if we didn't have the 3 fumbles, then we win the game. And Virgil said, but we did have the turnovers and all that. And so everybody, this is the funny part, and I want you guys to respond to it. Everybody acts like the offense is horrible because they had 3 turnovers, but the defense is not. Defense didn't get turnovers in the game. So why is it that we've not had a 3 turnover game all year? Okay. We've not had a special teams turnover all year. So why are we expecting that to happen this week when we expect the defense to bounce back and get turnovers? So yeah, it may be that way, but you don't go into a game. Football players don't go into a game going, hey, I had 3 turnovers the last game, so that's now my trend, that's my thing. They don't expect that. So I don't look at it from a fan standpoint, DC and X, as well. We had 3 turnovers against Oklahoma, so that means we're going to have 3 turnovers against Auburn. I'm going in and going, okay, I'm looking at Alabama's offense, and I always start off from the mindset, if Alabama's offense plays to its capability, and Auburn's offense plays to their capability, and Alabama's defense plays to their capability, and Auburn's defense plays to their capability, who's going to win the game? That's the way I look at it. That's the way I start off.
DC.
Oh, I agree with that philosophy. I mean, I'm optimistic that if both teams play their best game, Alabama wins this game. I think that's true. I don't think we can afford to have mistakes and turnovers in this game, and if we don't, then I think we win the game going away without any problems, and that's what I'm predicting. But I understand what people are saying, but sometimes we go for the outlier and we think that's the truth, and that's not really the truth. The truth is that Alabama's had a really good season of not turning the ball over. They had a bad game where they turned the ball over 3 times, so you can't go with the outliers. That's the chicken little, the sky's falling type mentality, and you've got to put things in context and put them in perspective. Just like you do the voodoo that happens in Gordon-Hare Stadium. If you really look at, I know I'm optimistic, and I'm probably the most optimistic person around that you know, but it looks to me like Alabama has had their share of reverse voodoo on Auburn at Gordon-Hare Stadium with the 99-yard drive and the 2-point conversion and the Gravedigger play the year after that. I mean, you just see all the different things that happen down there, and everybody just assumes it's all going to go in Auburn's favor, and it doesn't all go in Auburn's favor. There's been a lot of instances that happened there, but that's home field advantage. It happens in a lot of different places when you play. We've got to overcome that, and I think we can do that. This team is built to win this game against Auburn as long as we play like we should.
And I'm going to say this real quick, Ace. Go back and look. It looked like voodoo, but Saban never beat. Y'all need to hear this. Fortunately, Auburn wasn't really good when Saban was there. Saban never beat a 9+ win Auburn team. He never beat a good Auburn team. Just let that sink in for a second. So I don't know if it's voodoo or he just couldn't get over the hump against the in-state rivals and it meant more to Auburn or what it was. But Saban never beat a good team.
Yeah, and that's actually what I was going to get at. When we look at when Alabama has lost to Auburn in the Saban era, if you don't want to look at his first season, because I don't know how good they were that year. 2010 national champions, 2013 national champion runners up, 2017 they played in the SEC championship, 2019 they won 9 games that year. It's just what it is when it comes to how it was. But since 2020, Auburn has probably had their worst 5-6 year stretch in program. I don't know if program history, but in my lifetime. And Alabama's taking advantage of that. And that doesn't look like it stopped this year. They're 5-6. Now, they have to win this game to go to a bowl game. They have a lot to write. They can ruin Alabama's playoff hopes. You know, there's a lot that they have to fight for, but who's going to want it more? Is Alabama going to want to right the ship from last year? Is Alabama going to want to change the narrative of, hey, it was all Saban? Because people seem to forget that Alabama had 12 national championships and 20-some SEC titles before Nick Saban ever stepped foot on campus. That's the message I'd be pushing to Alabama when we're looking at how people are perceiving us, even though we're 9-2, you know, even though Kelly and DeBoer won more games as a first-year head coach at Alabama than anybody ever has. It's still that narrative. Can he and this team right that shit?
Yeah. And the other part, QD, by the way, congratulations, QD. You won last week's score with 59-0. QD said, even before the Saban era, Alabama was not winning down there. The 89 team broke his heart. So it broke my heart too, QD. But what I would say to that, QD, is Alabama was not the dominant program that it was in the Saban era. So we were 10-0, they were 7-3. It was the first time ever. There's always some outlier that plays to their benefit. They were 7-3, but it was also the first time ever, and they just hyped it up, man, and it was a big time game. But DC, I want you to address a couple guys. And by the way, I don't want the listening audience to think I'm disagreeing with what they're saying. I want you to continue to bring your comments like Virgil and Bam Bam and Jacob Powell, because you guys are bringing up valid points. I'm just saying that when I'm talking from a standpoint that each game is a game within itself. And even though you've had a trend of 5 in a row, well, we had a trend of turnovers in every game, and that ended against Oklahoma. Unfortunately, both of those things, DC, happened at the same time. We ended up turning it over 3 times, and our defense, if we get one of those turnovers, we win the game that we dropped. So it was so many things that went right for Oklahoma in that game, and it was a perfect storm. So I'm not expecting either one of those trends to happen against Auburn. I'm not expecting 3 turnovers, maybe 1, but I'm also not expecting our defense not to turn it over. But the trend that has been the case all year long is this, X and DC. We don't score a lot of points, even though our quarterback was in the Heisman conversation 3 games ago, we were still only getting into the 20s. And that is a bigger problem. That's a bigger problem. And that's the point that I think a couple guys were asking just a second ago, Jacob Powell, how do we get over that hump? Because that's what it's going to take. And I think there's one problem with us getting the yards. And it's one thing that we do that drives me nuts. And I think that's our problem. But I'll let you guys respond first. DC.
Well, I mean, I think it's a problem that we're not scoring enough points, and this was a Ryan Grubb offense who was supposed to put points on the board, and it hasn't done so. Although we're doing it we're doing it inside the red zone, we're not getting to the red zone enough, and I think that's a problem. I think we've had too many 3 and outs, we've had too many opportunities, and we didn't take advantage of them. I think our running game is lacked because of the vision of our running backs. I know everybody on your show and everybody out there wants to criticize our offensive line, but folks, I went back and I've watched the tape and I've watched the tape and I've watched the tape, and there's you just cannot criticize the offensive line for our running game because there's yards left on the field each and every game because of the lack of ability to see the vision of the holes and run. So we've got to fix those issues, and we got to fix those issues on offense. And I think Ty Simpson has regressed. I mean, I was critical of last year of Jalen Milroe, and I'm critical of Ty Simpson when he's not performing. He's got to do better, execute better. But I think it all starts with the play calling and getting us in the right place to make the plays and execute the plays.
Yeah, it's something interesting, especially when you're talking about the run game. One, I don't think Kevin Riley and Daniel Hill have had enough touches. And most running backs, Dad, you can speak to this. I can speak to it at the level that I play. Running backs have to get into a rhythm of the game. And when you're rotating kind of the way that they do, they never get into a real rhythm of it. But I saw something interesting. Jam, before his concussion, was averaging 5.5 yards a carry, and since his concussion, he's averaging 2.1. So don't know if that's had an effect on the way he's played the game. Possibly, don't know. But there's something to it, and it is a vision thing. Daniel Hill missed a couple big runs potentially when against Oklahoma, just seeing something different from what was out there. Kevin's missed a couple. Jam's missed a ton. It's a combination of the offensive line and the running backs, in my opinion, of why there's been struggle and play calling.
Yeah, and then what I was going to say is the run game, yes, they need more touches. Yes, they miss gaps. And yes, it's the offensive line. I think the running backs sometimes, guys, anticipate, because early on it was the offensive line. The offensive line is blocking better for the run now than they were early on. But you also, just like a quarterback will anticipate a sack that's not there, like I've seen Ty a couple times step up because he thought they weren't going to block the guy, and he stepped into pressure. Instead of letting the block happen, he caused the sack. Same thing happens with the running game. I think it's a couple of times, DC, that those holes you've seen, the running back didn't anticipate the block staying on there or happening, so they made a cut, and they actually got the block. But the biggest thing I think that hurts our scoring Grubb is a different play caller between the 50 and the 20.
Oh, 20 to 20, he calls a completely different game.
No, it's not 20 to 20. It's 50. He's good from our 20 to the 50 and from the 20 in. He is going to do something once we cross the 50-yard line. Once we cross the 50-yard line, DC, on a first down, he's going to do something that puts us behind the chain.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter
I've
what
noticed that too. I've noticed that too. Used to you could anticipate a play caller once we would cross the 50. Not when Ryan Grubb, but in past years, once we crossed the 50, you could anticipate a play action pass and try to go deep. But he seems to have a completely different mindset as to what he wants to do, and I just can't. Gimmick plays that aren't really working. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's insane. If you look at Alabama's gimmick plays, I guarantee you 80% of them have come 50 to between the 50 and 30-yard line.
I'd say 50 and 40. Yeah, I agree with you, X.
Yeah. And Jacob, I'm sorry, Justin Gore. Let me see, who is it? Let me make sure I got it right. Ouch. Justin Gore, I think, DC, he said he said he wasn't the only one that thought Ty was struggling because you said it. I have a different explanation of struggling. I think Ty is holding the ball too long. And to me, that is something that I don't know if he can fix. I'm at the point now, he's such a competitor, he don't want to make a mistake. I'm not sure he can fix it. As far as, throwing the ball, I think him not having his receivers at full speed, receivers not running right route, that's caused a couple of those overthrows and things. But I do put it on Ty that Ty has regressed in this sense. His lack of release, DC, when he makes a mistake, when he makes a mistake, it lingers. And that's why he didn't get on the field the previous 2 years.
I agree.
And so it's not like all of these things need to be fixed. I think it's like one thing that needs to be fixed, DC. And is that why Grubb is on the sideline, to get him out of that, to pull him out of that zone quickly. When he goes into that zone, snatch him out, which you can't do from up in the booth. I don't know that.
Do y'all think
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Do y'all think that this is something that's interesting? Do you think that Ty and Jalen Milroe had opposite ends of the same problem? Ty, when he makes a mistake, goes within himself, and Jalen tried to do too much after he made a mistake. It's the opposite ends of the same issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And I think when I say regressed, I mean exactly what Martin just said. I don't mean he's gotten to be a worse football player. I mean he's going back in some of the same habits that kept him on the bench for so long.
Yep.
And I think we're seeing that. And the reason, and this is in no way a controversy or anything like that, or loving a second string quarterback. But if you watch Austin Mack or Keelan Russell, when they make their read, they are decisive and the ball comes out quick. And it's are they run the ball, or they run themselves? Because they have just been trained on that progression. And I think somehow, some way, Ty was trained differently in the beginning, and he's regressed back to that of what kept him on the bench for all those times. And I'm not saying anybody should be playing ahead of him. Don't hear me wrong. I'm just saying look at the difference on how the ball comes out of the pocket.
Well, and they also played against ULM and Eastern Illinois, so I'm not going to give them too much more credit because Ty was doing that all of the games except for Florida State and when he played against really good defenses. But here's the thing. Justin Gore said, how do you fix it? I think you fix it by putting the coach who has coached him in the scrimmages on the sideline with him, and when he comes off, he gets in his stuff, which he can't do from in the booth. That's why I said I think he's on the sideline. I think that's why he's down there, is to coach him up, DC, immediately to get him out of that mindset and say, you got to go play, son. You got to go play. And it's one thing for somebody to say it from the booth. It's another thing to say it from the room. I used to tell people when Coach Stallings said something and he was in the room, it would look different than when you heard somebody else say Stallings said it. CC, what's your score?
I got Alabama win this game 38-17.
All right. What's Ty's passing yards?
310.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Hey, this is the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. That was DC of DC Capstone Report joining us as he does each and every Tuesday. We had Chase Brumfield pressing all the right buttons. I'm Xavier Houston. That's Martin Houston. Y'all have a blessed Tuesday. We'll see y'all back tomorrow.
All right. Trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding. All your ways acknowledge him. He will direct the path. I appreciate you guys. We'll be back tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Roll Tide.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.